Good afternoon, everyone.
Hiya.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
I don't know about you, but I don't know whether it's Tuesday, Monday, Friday, Sunday, but I hope everybody did have a nice bank holiday.
Was it any different to any other day?
Not really.
I don't think so, actually.
Not really.
I don't care what day of the week it is anymore.
No.
It's all merging and rolling into one, but thank you very much for joining us. Today's session is around sales funnels. So some of you we've spoken to in the past, some of you are new, and hello to people that I don't know. My name is Emma Good. I have a social media agency called 24 Fingers. So we help people that are all fingers and thumbs with their social, whether that's from a strategy point of view, actually doing it for them, whether it's for training. So Kathy and I run training workshops, our analysis. So I can tell Costa, for example, how they rank on social media compared to Starbucks. So we're taking social from A to Z, and an absolute pleasure to be with you today. Over to Kathy.
Thanks very much, Emma. And my name's Kathy Ennis, and my business is called LittlePiggy, and I am a business mentor. And what that means is that I'm the person that works on the strategy side and the planning side before you actually dive into the doing side. And one of the biggest issues I come up against with a lot of businesses is that they're doing masses of stuff, and power to their elbow for that, but actually it's not having the impact that it needs to have because they haven't put any strategy in behind it. And I think today's session is a really classic example of some of the thought processes we need to go through as businesses before we decide to actually do anything, particularly around our marketing or promotion. So this is for me is a really key session. So hopefully you're going to get some good hints and tips as we go through.
Brilliant. Thank you, Kathy. So I just had to text somebody back and they're like, oh, I can't find today's link, so excuse me for a minute. So Kathy, are you okay to share your screen? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just find. Oh, you have to enable me to do it.
I have to enable you.
There we go.
They changed all this now. How do I do that? Advanced. Okay. And should be good.
Okie doke. Here we go. Oh, there we are. Yeah. So I'll do that there now, and then I'll put it into the slideshow. Come on. That's it. That's what we're doing, folks. If you didn't know, that's who we are. We've just told you. So
brilliant. Thank you, Kathy. So sales funnel. Each of us, whether we class ourselves as salespeople or not, do sell. We may not be that person that's a sales manager on our business cards, but each of us have the responsibility for bringing new leads and new customers into our business. I know that there's a thing around being classed as a salesperson. It's something that we often talk to with Rupert Miles, sales trainer, who's a local guy in Essex. But for want of a better term, we're all salespeople in our own business. Depending on how comfortable we feel with that, we're either on the phone doing cold calls, or we're meeting people at networking meetings, or we're pushing stuff out on social media. But it all comes back to the same goal: getting you new leads into your business so your business can grow. What a sales funnel does is allows that process to be systemized and to some degree automated. So without a sales funnel, potentially you've got a stack of business cards that are gathering dust somewhere. You may have a filing system where you've made notes of people's names and addresses, and once a month you might give that person a call and see whether they need your help. Well, a sales funnel is today's way of getting that process automated, happening when you sleep. So lots of us want to be in a position where things are happening in our business where we don't physically touch them, and a sales funnel will allow you to do that. A sales funnel will also let you make that process consistent and constant. So in my business, I didn't used to have a sales funnel. I'll be honest, my business is 6 years old next month. And at the beginning, it was very much based on word of mouth and referrals. So I didn't know where the next lead was coming from. All I knew was when somebody phoned me up and said, oh, I'm John, and I was told by my mate Mark that you're the girl to talk to about social media. And it happened like that every single month. And that was brilliant because it really took the pressure off. And I had enough mates to have a fairly consistent and constant referral network. But I don't know everybody in the world, and I need that to become more under my control. I need to know that if I make 50 sales approaches, I'm going to get 10 new leads, and out of 10 new leads, I'm going to get a customer. It definitely needs to be a formula like that. And the sales funnel actually gives you that control. So what happens now in my business is I'll put out an asset. So typically, and some of you may have already downloaded them. So I'll do an asset like the A to Z guide of social media, or 24 tips to social media, for example. I'll put that out on social media, I'll publicise that, and I will get leads from that. I will get people dropping into my inbox. And the best thing about it, I don't know these people. They're not my friends, they're not my family, they're not mates and mates, they're actual strangers. And that's a brilliant feeling. When I woke up this morning and I started checking my emails, I've had discovery calls booked in for my diary this week from people that I've never spoke to, and I don't know how they knew of me. And it is down to this system that I don't now need to chase leads, and I don't need to chase prospects. They will drop into my inbox and they'll drop into my system automatically. And trust me, that has taken so much pressure off. And I now feel like if I do Y, X will come out the other side, and that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, and I just want to chuck a couple of points in there. Is that number one, the concept of the funnel is not new. It's always been there. The process is how people have got people to buy from them since people have started buying things, or even just exchanged shells rather than cash. So it's not a new thing. What we've actually got now, and it's a leveling of a playing field, I think, is that as smaller businesses, we actually have access to tools that can help us build things that allow that process that Emma was talking about to happen, whereas only big businesses could afford them before, or have them specifically built. So I think for me that's one thing. The other side of it is around this concept of selling, and I do get a lot of people saying to me, oh, I'm not a salesperson, I hate selling. Okay, don't have a business, because we do have to sell stuff. However, if that sounds harsh, I don't mean it to sound that way, because what I wanted to say really is about sales is that as businesses, we're in business to help solve somebody's problem. And so when a potential customer or a lead gets in contact with us to say, I have this issue, whatever that issue might be, what we do is we tell them how we can help them solve that problem. And then we tell them the price. And that's the difference. We're not, Emma loves the old character Swiss Tony from the Fast Show. We're not the old style, bouffonted hair, mega sales, always be closing, get that person to sign on the dotted line, whatever. That's not what any of this is about. This is about providing a process where you can get yourself in front of people who are interested in you and what you do, and demonstrating to them how you can help solve that problem that they've got.
Thank you, Kathy. So I think your next slide.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we are talking about is a stepped and staged process, and I think sometimes this is where the confusion comes in, because a lot of things that you see about how to promote your business make it sound mega easy, and it isn't difficult, but there is not one key thing. There isn't a magic bullet. There isn't, if you just do this one thing, loads of things are going to come to you. It is a question of actually creating a series of actions or processes within the business. So what a sales funnel actually does is it helps people move from the point of not knowing you, through to knowing you a little bit, through to understanding something around what you do, through to getting them to consider that they've got an issue that you may well be able to solve, through to them getting in contact with you, and then through to actually becoming a customer and making a purchase. So that's what we're looking about in a sales funnel, is demonstrating to people that we do have the solution to their problem, that we know what we know, that we can help them with that particular issue that they've got, the stages or steps we might go through to help them with that problem, and then down to the point where they make a decision whether they're going to buy from us or not. So it's a relatively simple idea. Sometimes the confusion comes with having to actually put things into practice. So I know that we want to have a look at what that practice might actually be. So let me just go to the next one here, because it's called a sales funnel for a reason. And if any of you are not familiar with a funnel, it's a thing that has got this sort of upside down triangular type of shape, where something goes in at the top, and then you're able to bring things out at the bottom. So the idea with a funnel is the fact that what we do is we have a wide open area at the top, so we can get as many people in as possible. And then through the process of being in contact with them in a variety of ways, they get to know us a little bit more. And from that, they actually then start to make a decision over whether we might be the right kind of people to help them solve that problem that they've got. So I know that John is on the call here and may appreciate this a little bit, because John's from Guider Accountancy, but this is Aida rather than Ida, his beautiful dog. And the idea is that what we do in a funnel is that we do these 4 things. We start by raising people's awareness of us, awareness of a thing, awareness of an offer, awareness of a service that we provide. So basically what we have to decide is, what do we want people to know about? Then we do a whole bunch of things that start to spark their interest in us, who we are, what we do, and how we can help them with that issue that they've got. We do things that help them make a decision over whether we're the right person to choose, or whether they want to engage with the thing that we're offering them, and then we get them to take action. So the whole process of creating any kind of sales funnel, so planning this promotional activity, is the first thing is to get them aware that you exist and that this thing exists, pique their interest, give them something where they have to make a decision one way or the other, and then get them to take action. And it's these 4 stages that will really influence how you're going to develop a strategy. So I'm looking at Shirley Webb, who I know from Be Transformed, and I know that Shirley is an image consultant. So if I were looking at things like that, you know, I'd be looking at perhaps raising awareness of what image consultancy is, how it can affect people, piquing their interest that way. And then I would get them to actually maybe download something that would help them maybe weed their wardrobe, or understand how they might mix and match things in their wardrobe. And as I'd fed them some of that kind of information, I then might ask them to do something such as, in these days, book a virtual wardrobe weed, so that she could actually get them to use their webcam and help them to do it themselves. So you're actually looking at that kind of process.
Kathy,
anything you want to add in there, Emma?
Not at this stage. I think, and there's a conversation that I had this morning with somebody, what we can't do nowadays in marketing is put something out once and think that we've done that awareness, interest, decision and action all from one post. And I know the next slide I'll be looking at how we actually get the message out. But just to echo what you said, it's a stage process. It isn't just one thing and you get all of those 4 emotional factors hooked just in one post. It's a drip feed effect.
And it's not all in one place as well. I think that's the other thing, because Emma and I have done a lot of these trainings, looking at perhaps even just different platforms. And one of the things we're always keen to get across to people is that different groups, different types of people exist in different places. So you're not going to get them all through Facebook, and you're not going to get them all through Instagram. You have to think about this, that yes, we are bringing people through, but we have to raise that awareness in a whole variety of different places. We'll be using the same kind of content, the same kind of information, but it may be phrased or presented to them in a slightly different way, because of the space we're doing it. So things that you put up on Facebook may not be the same as you put into perhaps an email that you sent out to your email list, or maybe something that becomes a downloadable resource on your website. Okay, so you need to think across the board. Okay.
Thanks, Kathy.
So I'll pop on to the next slide. And I'll hand over to you for this then, Emma.
So, we were laughing about this morning. Anybody from Essex will know why we were laughing. So we're using the example of a dog grooming business, which Kathy called Fur Jazzle.
It is a real thing. I did help a business with this. It is absolutely true.
So the first thing when we look at awareness, you know, how do we get people to know about this new business? Well, easiest and really low cost way is you write blogs about it, you do your own email marketing, you put it out on social. None of this is going to cost you an absolute fortune, and especially right now, these are the kind of consistent actions that will show people that our business is still open and still ready to receive customers. Kathy and I speak a lot about being visible, and that awareness thing is that consistent message of every day you putting stuff out on your business in the different platforms, as Kathy said. But this is kind of pushing information out that you hope will attract people back in to your website to look for more information, or to give you a call, or to fill out a contact form. The interest element on all of this is the lead magnet. So that could be something, as Kathy said, for Shirley's business. This would be a lead magnet for people with particular pain points around being a dog owner. So it could be something like, how do you know when the best time to get your dog groomed? How often is too often? What makes a good dog groomer, for example? It could be a checklist, it could be a handout guide, it could be an ebook. Again, really low cost to produce, and it doesn't need to be War and Peace, but it needs to be a hook. It needs to be something that people think, actually, yeah, I could do with that information. In return, I will offer up my email address, because nowadays we can't expect people to give away something for nothing. We need to tempt them in. The decision is going to be that reinforcement stage. It could be a Facebook ad, it could be more social posts. It's basically concept that somebody needs to see your material between 9 and 15 times now before they actually make a decision. And we all might think, well, you know, I put out that post on Facebook last week, they don't need to see it again, they're going to get bored of me. Trust me that not everybody is sitting there waiting for our Facebook post. So we need to do that repetition thing, and we need to do that consistency to say, you know, right, yep, I've seen that before, and now I'm actually going to take action. And then on to action, we need to give them something that encapsulates your offer. So it could be something like a free trial period. It could be something like a discount offer if you book now. It could be a special offer that we're running throughout lockdown, for example. But we need to give them something, and the idea is that we've given them enough awareness, we've piqued their interest to a point that they're ready to make a decision, and now they need to take action. And hopefully you'll see now why one simple Facebook post won't be able to do all of those 4 things in one. It definitely needs to be kind of a gathering of steam, as it were. So the end point is somebody to think, actually, do you know what? I know that person now. I like what they have to say. I've built up enough trust about their business. Actually, I'm ready to take an action. And if we follow those 4 things, we will have a new supply of customers that will feed our business, that will help our business grow. That is a process, and as long as we continue the process in each of the 4 elements, we've got that consistent sales funnel.
Yeah, and I think that the other side of this is that we're looking at a funnel where we have lots of people coming in at the top, and I generally say it's a funnel but it's almost more of a colander, because what starts to happen is people start falling out through the holes. And the reason they start falling out through the holes is that, you know, there are loads of people doing things similar to ourselves. Customers have masses of choice, and so people make decisions going forward as to where, and it's not whether they like or dislike you, but whether they feel that you and or your business fits the bill for them. So you will start to lose people, so that when they come through to that bottom end of the funnel, when you get them to the point where it's like the decision and the action side, you're going to have an awful lot fewer than those that came right in at the top. So it then makes it a more I suppose comfortable in a way for you to bring them to that action point. The other side of it is that once somebody's come through that funnel process and they're with you and they've become a customer, there is a continuation of that funnel, and that is where you need to build in the nurture process for those people that have become customers. So it's not just a question of piling in at the top, letting them filter through, somebody buying something, and then all you do is concentrate on the next lot that are coming through, and then the next lot that are coming through. What you need to do is you need to then have this, what I might call like a long tail extension of what you're doing, as to how do you decide then to keep in contact with those people that have purchased from you. What is it that you're going to decide to do with them? How regularly are you going to keep in contact with them? Because one of the key things to remember is that, you know, Emma was saying how many times we have to interact with people now in order for them to make a buying decision. And I think when I first started looking into this 20 odd years ago, we were probably looking at between 5 and 7 interactions before people make a buying decision. Now it's 9 to 15 or something like that. So it's increasing. So what we actually want is, when somebody has put their trust in us and when somebody has engaged with us in that way, is that we need to put in something that nurtures them, because it's 7 times more expensive to get a new customer than it is to get somebody who's bought from you before to purchase again. So we need to think about, how do we, you know, once we've got people through that funnel, how do we keep them in terms of custom? And actually, quite often what will happen is that those people that we've brought through and have nurtured and bought from us before will end up going into the top of another funnel and coming back down through to make a decision to buy something again. So, you know, it's a process driven thing. And as I said right at the beginning, we've now got tools available that are useful to us as you know, micro, very small or small businesses that would have been way beyond our reach 10 years ago, 5 years ago, some of them even about 3 years ago. So the more that we can put this kind of planning in place and then put the automations in place, the much easier it's going to be to actually manage all of that.
Thank you, Kathy.
So, should we just open up for some questions?
Yeah, we've got a few minutes for questions.
Has anybody got any questions for us on what we've gone through or been
silence?
Have we worried the living daylights out of you all?
Hi, ladies. No, it's great information. Thank you.
Leslie, hi.
Hello, Emma. You're right. It's
Yeah.
interesting, that fact about it's costing more expensive to get more customers in the top, which is really interesting to hear. Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, and it is. If you think about all of the processes you have to go through in order to get somebody to buy from you the first time, it's a real slog.
Yeah.
So yeah, putting things in place where people feel comfortable coming back to you again. It is also one of the reasons why, in any business, I talk about this a lot, is this need to have this concept of a product staircase, so that you've got different things at different levels in terms of pricing, so that if somebody comes in at one place, you can either send them up to the next level of for more purchase, or down to something that's slightly less expensive. So you need to have a variety of places where you can send them to, or introduce new things.
And that customer service is really important, I think, to stop them going out the holes in the colander. And to keep them in that funnel is, we're all about customer service rather than profit, and it does go down a long, long way. Yeah, it really does.
Absolutely. I was saying to John, who's on the call here, I was saying to him the other day that I had a woman on my email list for 10 years. I've been doing this a long time. I had her on my email list for 10 years. And then one day, out of the blue, she just contacted me and said, I think it's about time that we work together now.
Oh, wow, 10 years. Amazing.
Absolutely. And I just thought, there's sometimes it's 10 minutes, and in this instance it was 10 years. So you can never tell. But in essence, it didn't really cost me anything just to keep that nurture process going, because it's part of the whole thing. Yeah,
brilliant. No, really good slides. Thanks, ladies. Really interesting.
Brilliant. Thank you.
And Kathy, that's the reason why I've booked you on Thursday to have a chat literally about what we've just done today. And when you sent that email saying there was this on today, it's just been perfect. The only confusion I have is I'm not sure if I need Emma as well, so maybe you'll be able to enlighten me on Thursday. But
well, we do things together, and that was definitely from the what Donna's talking about. Is she booked a breakthrough session with me this week, a half-hour conversation, and I do ask some questions, and when she put her answers into the questions, I thought, oh, she needs a dynamic duo. So that was definitely going to be part of my conversation.
I think, I gathered that today, and I must say, actually, it does take a lot for me to be brought in. I mean, I'm a physiotherapist and come from a sales background. Many years ago, I was a recruitment consultant and trained as a physio quite a number of years ago as well. But when I saw you the other day, I think you did a Friday session, it was a half-hour session. I just want to say I was really impressed with you ladies, actually. I felt you, and your emails that have been coming through, I've been really, I have been. Not normally buy in that quick, so you've got me, and that's great. So thank you.
And I was really interested to see that you do myofascial release, Donna, because I've worked with a physio that specialises in that in the past. So
yes, I do a lot of that. Yeah.
Thank you. That's lovely to hear, and I can speak for Kathy when I say you've made our week already. So thank you, Donna. You'd like to pull up the slides for our next workshop so we can tell everyone about.
Yeah. So here we go, and there we go.
Thank you. So this Friday we've got how to put everything we've just rattled through in half an hour into action. So that's our workshop. That's happening at 10 o'clock on Friday morning, and we'll be talking about how to put all this theory into action for your business. I'll follow up after this session with the details on that. Next week we move into Google. So we're doing a workshop on Google My Business. So a lot of you will have looked at what does Google My Business mean, and what does SEO mean, and how can I get on page one. Well, we're looking at all the different tools that Google give us and how we can use them for our business. And then the following week we've got a special workshop on SEO, so how we optimize our website, how we get onto page one, and how we make Google love us effectively. So I'll be sharing the dates on those shortly by email. And then, as Kathy said, do reach out for us. Kathy and I both offer, I think it's on the next slide actually, Kathy. Kathy and I both offer sessions where we can talk about your business in detail with advice that's tailored to you. So feel free to connect with us, Emma and Kathy, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. We're everywhere. In any method or platform of your choice, if you've got any questions or burning things that you've been scratching your head about and it's been taking you too long or too frustrating or not getting the results that you want, grab us, and more than happy to book in for a no obligation chat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that's us again. And as Emma said, just reach out, get in contact, come and find us, ask us questions. We do have a Facebook group as well that we have called 24 Piggies. I hope you can see where we've joined ourselves at the hip there. So that's precisely the kind of place where, you know, these kinds of questions can be asked. And even if you think after today's session, oh, I should have asked them that question, I'm not 100% sure about that, pop into the Facebook group 24 Piggies and ask the question, and we'll get in and we'll answer it for you, because I bet if you've got a question, at least 10 others have got the same. So yeah, definitely.
And actually, I'm going to do another plug for something else, actually. Can everyone write down the 9th of June? Because my friends in Essex are all invited to join the first Enterprise Nation meetup that we're going to have on the 9th of June. Enterprise Nation is a support organisation for local small business owners. Kathy is the local leader for Norfolk, and I've just been the local leader for Essex. So I'm really... I really need your support in having the first one with lots of friendly faces. So 9th of June, and I'll put that in the email too.
And if you're not in Essex, you can still attend, because it's a meeting like this. And my next one is on the 17th of June. And that's aimed at the Norfolk folk, but I had people from north of Ireland and places further afield on the first one I did. So more the merrier. Everybody's welcome.
Brilliant. So thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to finish the meeting now. Have a great rest of the day. Stay safe, take care, and grab us if we can help at all.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.